my shirt too. It's just too warm with that thick shirt on. So as you can see, I've aged a lot in the last year and a half, for those who remember, because of those injections. Here are the scars, the injections. And there's the holes like these came out. It's like I got shot by bullets. Yeah. Okay, and these. Put that down so you can see more of it. I got two big ones here, right? Oh, there's two here or here?
A big one there.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see those. And this, I lost probably about 3 inches of arm that I never had to work out to have. And now you can see that I've lost a lot of that muscle from this. When it first happened, this went down almost 3.5 inches. So got the real skinny arm. And a lot of the weight all around here trimmed off. Yeah, so I'm much smaller now. And I'm never one to work out, so I don't build it. It's building up slowly. But I was much thinner. I was about probably 15 pounds lighter than I am right now with that process. And you can see, again, this side too. All that muscle that's gone, the skin sagging. But it was worse, 6 months ago and 7 months ago, it was 4 times this. So I'm building the muscle back again, and the skin is not as relaxed as it was.
How much are you eating, Arthur?
Pardon?
How much are you eating?
Well, I've got a problem. If I eat too much, I'll get diarrhea. So, and it's not from anything in particular. When I want to eat the things that I want to eat, like lots of butter, I don't digest it as well because there must be some liver damage, from all of those injections. So.
You look skinny. You never look skinny.
Yeah, I never looked skinny now.
When I first met you, you were like really big.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I mean, this is a small shirt. And I used to wear mediums. Now they're huge. Huge on me. So. But I'll put it back on. I've already put on about 12 pounds, of it already. It's just a slow process. And I feel it's getting near the end, almost all of it, the worst of it's over. So I'm starting to gain more in the last probably 6 weeks. But then there was a problem with James supplying, eggs that had mercury in it, chickens that had, arsenic in it, because he was giving us eggs that were grown off commercial feed and commercial chickens. And the farmer, Sharon Palmer, actually went out and bought commercial chickens and commercial eggs and sold them, or gave them to, or sold them to James Rawson Club as organic, no sodium, no soy or anything in them, and it was absolutely just commercial junk.
How did you find that out?
Well, I just kept having problem with the change. One time there was heavy salt in it, and another time the chicken was just really, really foul and not bad, like very low-grade feed. So there's an inconsistency, and I know that doesn't happen on an organic farm. There's no inconsistency in quality. And the eggs were almost always uniformly sized and always chemically clean, washed. And our contract on the membership agreement and with the farmer is that they have to be organic, no soy, and that the eggs are not to be washed. They may be wiped with a wet cloth, damp, but only water. And that's it. So none of this was like that. And James kept, every time I told James just said, oh, you know what you're talking about. This is perfectly good. But you have to understand, he owns part of the farm. And he made $10,000 a month from it. And Sharon took another $10,000. So they were making a lot of money on taking this commercial stuff and selling it for a very high price. And then we were the consumers. So I got fed up with it, and in June, right after the raid, I said, well, this is a good time to stir up everything because everything's already stirred up. So got a detective agency involved in it and had them watch the farm, interview certain old employees that they had, and the evidence was outstanding that the employees were actually fired. They were disgruntled because they kept telling her, wait a minute, you're selling this as organic at 12 farmers markets and to Rawson. And we know what you're buying. We know what you're doing. You have us cleaning the chickens and take them out of and we've got pictures, taking them out of the company's bagging and putting them into non-labeled bags and then giving them to us. So here we've had, and then another reason we found out about that, I finally did something about it, was that when we started investigating, it started coming up about this one person who had written the district attorney up in that area, saying that my little girl had lead poisoning. She's in a very serious state. And so we check everything that goes into her. And everything we bought was from Rawson for this period. And her mercury and arsenic levels started hitting the roof. So they tested the eggs and had the eggs tested and the chicken tested. The chicken came up high in arsenic and the eggs came up high in mercury. So we have that evidence too. So it's just outstanding and it's outrageous. James still denies it. He's in total denial about it, and we just have to go through legal means to settle it because there's a lot of angry people. I know that I've been working with people who are very, very chemically sensitive, and when you're eating chicken with arsenic in it and mercury, it made it very difficult. And it's only been that difficult in the past 2 years that we've been getting those eggs in that chicken. Now that I was broken every time I came to LA and would eat those eggs, and I eat a lot of eggs. I eat anywhere from, let's say, 8 to 50 a day. And that's how much mercury I was consuming. And because they're commercial eggs, they're not good value. So I was getting these big sores all over my neck every time, a few days after I got, 2 days after I got here in LA, every time. And I just thought, well, it's the better food, that I'm here, I'm getting the best. And then when I found out from this report from the investigator, and then this one father with that little girl testing it, I realized what it was. So I stopped eating the eggs and the chicken, and all the breakout went away. Now I returned to Los Angeles last Friday. I don't have that breakout. So it's a very, very bad thing that James Stewart did. Very bad thing. And he was told also, the ex-employees told him what she was doing. So he was told many times, and we have all this testimony in writing, signed. Yes.
I'm kind of unfamiliar with this whole case, and like if you're getting the raw eggs, with the mothers that get these raw fertile eggs, that's a good place to get them?
Not anymore.
Really?
They don't have. Well, I tell everybody not to buy it. He's still carrying her eggs.
Mothers is?
Pardon?
Mothers?
No, I'm talking about Rawson up in Venice. Mothers, I don't trust any eggs from the store.
Really?
Yeah, because they only grow them in big houses. Maybe they're not in
They're
small
all the same
cages.
size. They look kind of clean. I'm going, these raw, range-fed, fertile eggs. I'm going, okay, these are the ones to buy, but apparently not.
Mostly they're grown with soy, and they'll say organic. Soy cannot be given to chickens raw, so they have to chemically treat it with a kerosene derivative and heat treat it. So any time a chicken is fed soy, it has to be processed. So all of the organic, now I've gone to, like Rosie says all organic. They feed their 75 to 80% soy. And I called them up and I said, you can't do that. Soy raw will kill a chicken, so you've had to have treated it. Yeah, but the soy was grown organically. I don't care, it's no longer organic when you're feeding it to the chickens. Well, the FDA lets us call it that way. That was their answer. This is Rosie, organic chicken. And let me tell you, I've been to about every chicken place around, and they all feed them the same garbage feeds. Only place I can find where they don't do that is in Amish and Mennonite farms. And where I get ours now, and I've been trying to get James to just get our Amish farmers, they supply everything else, give us their eggs and chickens too. The chickens are going to be tougher. They're eating organically, wild food. And what I do is I said, I don't want the chickens to have a lot of grains because chickens in the wild don't eat a lot of grains. They eat a lot of bugs, grasshoppers. They eat a lot of meat. They're scavengers. If they find a dead animal, they'll pick at the pieces and the bugs that are eating them. They love maggots. So what I'd like you to do is get a pallet. After you butcher, throw all the remains on the pallet and let the chickens have whatever they want. And the chickens just feed on it every day. And these chickens, I don't know how many people have been around chickens. They peck each other. They're very annoyed with each other. They're not happy. Those chickens will walk around like cats and rub you up against the ankles and legs. Yeah, at the Amish. When they feed them the way I want them to with the raw meats, the meat scraps and the maggots and stuff. And they also feed them some grain, some peas that are organically grown that they grow themselves. So they'll crush those up, and then they take some grains that they grow, and they'll soak it in whey, and the whey germinates it, so they're sprouted in whey. So these chickens get these sprouted in whey grains, raw milk, and then all this meat, and they are the most beautiful chickens, lay the best eggs in the world. It's phenomenal. So that's what, you just can't get those. Your big markets, your big chicken houses, your people who make them and produce them for your big stores, they're all big marketing houses with very poor grade feed.
But
None
even,
of it's organic.
Even in the farmers market, the guys that do have their local little farms,
they're feeding them
all
regular
the same
feed.
kind of grain. But they maybe they're pastured.
Pastured, but they're still getting regular garbage feed.
Isn't that better then, though?
And it's probably a little better, yeah. But when you're feeding an animal soy that isn't supposed to eat soy, that has to be heat treated and chemically treated, how many of you would eat a peach that you've soaked in, or even nuts that have been soaked in kerosene for 30 minutes, rinse it off and eat it? That kerosene etches its way deep into the tissue in 30 minutes. It's like gasoline.
So where are you buying your eggs from?
Right now, none. I'm making deals with the farmers in the Amish territory right now.
What area?
Yep.
Texas or
Ohio?
No,
Pennsylvania?
mainly Ohio, Pennsylvania,
Amos or other people?
Amos and other people. Amos is already full.
So
I've
are
got
there
him
other names
stretched.
you can get?
Pardon?
Are there other names you can give us that we can order?
Well, not right now. I'm still trying to make setup. There's no big chicken farmer in the Amish right now, so I'm trying to establish one.
What about the process of fodder feeding? Growing sprouts for chickens?
Well,
Isn't
you
that
can't
a better
feed just
possibility?
sprouts to a chicken. It'll kill the chicken. If you feed only sprouts to a bird, it will kill a bird in about 12 days. There are 3 enzymes that act like phytic acid. You know, in any kind of grain, in nut, you have phytic acid, which prevents mineral absorption, which prevents protein absorption, which prevents fat absorption. So it's a whole chain reaction. So they sprout or germinate grains to alter that phytic acid. However, when you alter that, you've got 3 other enzymes that are produced in vegetation state, which do exactly the same thing as phytic acid. So here you have 3 times the amount of that ingredient. However, if you germinate in milk, that the lactic acids in the milk destroy those enzymes. Of course, the sprout will never mature into an adult plant, but it breaks it down so that chickens can eat it with no problem, and the pigs can eat it. Any animal can eat it.
So before sprouting it, you're soaking it in the milk?
You cause it to be sprouted in the milk.
In
You
the
take
milk.
dry grain and you put it in milk.
So with that being said, right now, you don't want chicken, it's 1 egg.
I'm not eating any chicken or eggs. I'm just sticking with beef and fish.
What do you think the eggs, every egg has mercury or?
No, it's certain ones. They're using mercury to feed the chickens for laying eggs as an antibiotic. And in adult chickens for meat, they're using arsenic instead of antibiotic.
What about this thing I heard that the grain is actually, the grain that's fed to them is stored in vats where they put the pesticides and then the grain.
Oh yeah, and
gets in there?
well, that's mainly with the mercury.
Mercury is.
Yeah.
So then, would you say that all the other eggs are contaminated with soy? So basically, skin across the board probably accounts for like soy.
Yep.
And what does that do to us? To grow it in these eggs. With the soy, what does that do to us all?
Well, I don't know how much soy is in it. You know, we have photographs of the feed packages, but there's been so much going on, I haven't been able to go, to the store and see. And but anyway, I will, because I know that we've got a photograph of the feed they were giving it. So I have to investigate that. But with the mercury and the arsenic alone, that pulls a lot of our nutrients out of the system. Now, in my eyes, I had a great deal of changes from the injection. I had all this metal accumulate in my intestinal tract in iridology. So you could see the patterns all throughout the intestinal tract of the additional metal. And after eating all of these eggs, there's no way I can tell arsenic except as a green radiant compound in the iris. And obviously I didn't absorb a lot of that, but the mercury was coming out. And I had, when I had the hair analysis done here and the hair analysis done on my head, after the injections, all of those were high. So I can't tell, on me, I can't tell how much is those injections and how much are the eggs. So I have to look at my patients who had no other exposure, like that little girl. All of a sudden, arsenic and they just started feeding her all raw foods.
For how long was she on the diet? The little girl.
The father didn't tell me, or he said it, but I don't remember.
And is she better now?
Oh, she had severe lead poisoning, almost died. From a school that she went to. So then, they had to put her on a special diet, make sure it's pure as possible, so her body could clean out the lead. And then all of a sudden, they always kept tabs on her. Always checked her, blood to see what the levels were. And then the arsenic and mercury started going, elevating considerably. And the only thing exposure she had was Rawson food. So he checked the eggs and the meat first, because they'd be, of course, be the highest in mercury, not the fruits and other, not the dairy. So sure enough, that's where he found it, in the eggs and the chicken.
Can we eat chicken too?
Pardon?
Can we eat chicken of any sort? Rockies or any?
Rocky Junior, there's still 25 to 30% soy, but the rest is corn. Now a lot of it's genetically modified, GMO corn. So the tests that are coming out now in the scientific reports on GMO products is terrifying, very terrifying. They'll kill animals in a very short period of time. Gives them all kinds of disease and deformities.
Cooking up chicken right now.
Yeah, I'm not eating chicken and I'm not eating eggs right now.
Fish and beef.
Yeah.
What do you think about bison?
Bison's great,
They're like,
but if you get it from North Star Bison, you have to make sure you're not buying a female, because she vaccinates the female.
so like
Great range.
Pardon?
Great range.
I don't know Great Range.
they're sold at Costco.
Pardon?
So you get it at Costco.
Oh. I don't know.
Doesn't have any antibiotics. No,
Yeah. No deworming? So that's what you have to find out. You have to find all the stuff, because they
Say
usually
that same thing
deworm.
at Henry's, and it's only the last few months they're not vaccinated, but before they can still say it's not.
Fish and beef.
Fish and beef.
Any eggs, really any eggs, except these Amish.
Right.
Farms.
Well, unless you can find a farmer that's just doing, wild stuff and not feeding them a feed, getting them a commercial feed. And I don't know any to do that.
They always put some kind of feed, even the ones that are pasture fed.
Yeah, because they won't produce eggs.
But they have to be better than, don't they?
Pardon?
It has to be better than the
Yeah, it has to
commercial
be
one.
better than commercial, yeah.
You mentioned the breakout. My son, I give him raw milk. He sometimes breaks out with little like rashes on his face or diaper kind of rash.
Is he drinking it cold or warm?
Warming enough.
You always warm it?
Usually I put under like hot water and the vegetables soak and warm it.
And what did you feed him before?
Right when he wakes up. So
No, when did you start feeding him the raw?
Probably about 17 months now, probably about 11 to 12 months.
Okay, so 11 or 12 months you started feeding him.
But yeah, about
Good
a year,
for him.
I'd say, yeah.
So what did you feed him when he was
Prior to?
regular formula?
Organic, just organic milk or formula to start. Get off that and then go to organic milk.
So pasteurized, homogenized.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So he's got old lactate, toxic lactate, and cauterized lactate, and probably cauterized casein, and that'll cause rash. Now we're supposed to discard 90% of our toxins through the skin. So if it goes out through the bowels, it causes diarrhea. If it comes up vomit, of course, it's coming out the stomach. That's not a good place for it to go, because it damages bacteria and it damages the environment in the intestines. 80 to 90% of digestion is supposed to be bacterial. Only 10 to 20% is enzymatic, digestive juices. And those digestive juices, like the hydrochloric acid, which is our main one, is to break down larger particles of food into smaller particles of food for the bacteria to infiltrate those molecules and eat them. Their waste is our food. So we basically live on a diet of shit and piss from bacteria. Now, when you think about that, you look at the medical profession and you say, what is all this bacteriophobia? What is all that about? It's all about hiding the real culprits of disease, which is industrial pollution.
Do you have an opinion on colostrum? I noticed that it's sold right next to the raw milk. You buy a bottle of raw milk, and they have this stuff called colostrum there, raw colostrum.
Colostrum's the first 3 to 5 days after a calf is born. The mother, the cow, produces a mainly buttery milk. Cream is very difficult to digest. So if you gave a calf that was only 1 to 5 days old, that calf would have constant diarrhea if you fed them whole milk with the cream. So the cow mother, the cow, makes a buttermilk, basically. So that's why colostrum is so yellow. The cream is already broken down into a buttery substance.
Is that what, I looked through your book, I didn't really see that mentioned as one of the nutrients.
It wasn't something that people could get. Now they can get it. When I wrote my book, it wasn't available.
What do you think? It's really
It's wonderful. I will buy it every time I get a chance. I will drink it every time I get a
Some
chance.
of the mothers up in Irvine, I mean, that's a good distribution source. They have these bottle things too.
Yeah.
Good.
If someone that doesn't have access to getting raw butter, let's say, and they want to use moisturized lubrication formula, if they had pasteurized butter, the market, does that hold any,
It might be better than processed vegetable oils, but it certainly is not the equivalent of butter. Raw, unsalted butter. Even freezing butter is a problem. And Sally Fallon and all those say, oh, freeze this, freeze that. Well, when I took a group of animals and divided them into two, I gave them frozen meat and it's the same carcass, the same animal, the same side of beef. And I gave half of them unfrozen, the other frozen. All the ones that had the frozen meat all got a skin disorder within 6 weeks. One of them had it so bad it looked like he had the mange. And this is both cats and dogs. Every one of them had a skin disorder. Those that ate the unfrozen, same meat unfrozen, calm, relaxed, no itching, happy, not a problem. And that's it. I didn't even feed them water in that time. All they got for that whole time was just the meat. The ones that got the frozen meat dehydrated, they had all these skin problems. And then I decided, well, I can test the butter now. So I took the ones with all the ill conditions, skin conditions. I knew the butter would reverse that. Raw butter would reverse any kind of skin condition because it would get in there and handle the poisons that were being passed through the skin and protect the cells that were there and not get dried out. So I took the same batch of butter and I froze half of it and didn't freeze the other half and just refrigerated one half. Now, before I served it to them, of course, I would always let that out for about 12 hours to get room temperature because dogs and cats don't like cold things. They just don't like it. So I put it out for them. They ate it. And the ones who got the non-frozen butter healed 5 times quicker than the ones that got the frozen butter.
So it's just refrigerated and let it sit out.
So the frozen butter is 5 times less potent than non-frozen butter.
So a happy medium, what you say, would be the colostrum, if you can't get the raw butter.
Raw colostrum would be very helpful, yes. Or you can just get the cream and make your own butter. I tell you how to do that in the recipe book. Make your own butter. It's easy, the way I suggested
So much
in the
easier
book.
just to buy it, though.
When you can make it that simply, it isn't.
I'm a man.
Oh yeah, I tried to bring a recipe.
I got the book.
When you're lukewarm, you're still not getting those fats, so either you don't have access to someone that doesn't get raw, you don't have access to getting it, even the loose formula, are they still getting the fats?
Not in that way. When you have it in that formula, the liver, the bile that the liver produces is very easy to break that down because the lemon helps pre-digest it partially. So, and you have all the proteins in the egg white, which helps digest the fat, the butter. When you don't have that combination, you have to eat the butter with meat or something like that. However, digestion of meat takes 19 to 24 hours. Digestion of milk is 6 to 10 hours. Digestion of a raw egg by itself is only 27 to 30 minutes. That's why that in my recipe book I mentioned the woman who had emphysema, and her doctor called me on a Thursday night and said, I've got a woman who's diagnosed with emphysema 7 years ago. She's been bedridden for most of the past 2 years, and she's been on machines for most of that 2 years. And she's going to die this weekend. Is there anything I can do? I said, well, you're calling me a little late, aren't you? She says, I'm an MD, and there's no way. The law is that I cannot recommend anything to any alternative other than the standard medical procedures, which are written by the pharmaceutical industry, by the way. All medical procedure books are written by pharmaceutical industry. Merck's is about this thick. And she said, I can, without 10 years of failure with medical therapies, I cannot suggest anything alternative. Unless they're on their deathbed. She's on her deathbed, now I can't. That is the law. So you know, anytime you go to a doctor, a licensed MD, the only thing he can suggest for you is what the pharmaceutical houses suggest for you. That's it. So I said, well, that's your conscience. All I can do is say, get as many dozen eggs as you can, 10 to 15, put them on her bed table and have her eat as many as she can, and there's no limit. So this is a Thursday night. Now it was 9 o'clock, 9:30 my time, so she was in Maine or Massachusetts, so it must have been 1:30 in the morning. This is a woman who cared, was just stuck in the medical profession. You know, so I got a call on Monday morning. Now, if this doctor had it all together, probably wouldn't have gotten the eggs to her before late Friday night or early Saturday morning. So Monday morning I get a call from this raspy voiced woman saying, it worked, I'm out of bed, what else should I do? I said, well, who are you? And she said, well, my doctor called and you told her that I should eat as many raw eggs as possible. So I did that, and I'm out of bed and off the machines. What else do you want me to do? I said, well, how many eggs did you have to eat to do that? She said, I ate 33 on Saturday and 33 on Sunday. And I'm off the machines and out of bed. The point of that story is eggs digest so quickly, take very little of the body's energy and digestion. So the body has all that energy and all those wonderful nutrients, the liquid protein already, the liquefied fat, which only doesn't take any enzymes, only the bacteria has to invade it and eat it quickly. So in 27 minutes, it's absorbed and into your body working. That is the only food that you can give people who are in that critical condition to pull them through. So, and it worked. 66 eggs. Only 66 eggs, and she was out of bed and off the machine after 2 years of living that way. Isn't there something terribly wrong with the medical industry? Kept her suffering in bed and crippled for 2 years, and suffering for 7 years altogether. And I got a call from her 6 months later. I said, well, what you can do, you stay on the eggs, you eat as many, you eat 30 a day, for a year and a half, and you can add raw dairy a little bit at a time, maybe a quarter a cup. 3 weeks later, another ounce. So you have 3 ounces, 4 ounces. Every few months you can increase it, and you can increase. Eat some fish, some raw beef, some raw meats, and just increase your diet that way. I got a call from her a year later, and I didn't even realize it was her voice. It's almost a normal voice. Hardly any raspiness at all, and very strong.
mentioned the epidemic, but obviously there's a whole range of other diseases. You've got the liver, cancer, multiple sclerosis. Is this kind of, are the eggs something that can actually apply to all these diseases?
Absolutely everyone. Especially Crohn's disease, people who have digestive problems. You have to give them a break in their digestion.
So that would actually help my house.
It would help anybody.
Really?
I always tell people to eat lots of eggs if they have access to good eggs.
Yeah, but that's the trouble. I mean, it's saying
How else do you?
You've got to go out there and make it happen.
well, now, how do you do that? Do you have to have a special... Well, I used
Start
to
a
have
farm.
Chickens. I used to have chickens, but I feed them...
Brainwash some farmers.
There you go. You go talk to some farmers and say, hey, this is what we need. We've got a lot of people who are interested. Yeah.
Previously, you mentioned Weston Price. In his research, he only found 5 diseases among the native population.
Right.
Can you go over quickly what those 5 diseases were and maybe what cooked foods were causing those 5 diseases?
Well, it wasn't just Weston Price. It's other researchers who went to those tribes. I don't think Weston Price went to New Guinea, did he? Anyway, they've studied the tribes in New Guinea because they were mainly meat eaters. They didn't eat anything but meat. And they found that they were mainly researchers of cardiology, and they were archaeologists and anthropologists who also had an interest in cardiac problems. So they went to these tribes who ate only cooked meats. That was their whole diet. They didn't eat vegetables, nothing, just cooked meats was all they ate. And they'd even eat humans. And usually it was a tribe they, didn't like. They would snatch one of their out hunting or something, grab them and cook them and eat them. So they found that there were only 5 diseases, and they were gout, osteoporosis to an extent, arthritis and rheumatism, and I forgot the other one. Anyway, there were no heart disease. There was no heart disease, no arterial sclerosis, nothing. So you get arterial sclerosis and liver hardening and hardening of the heart from vegetable oils, hydrogenated vegetable oils, which are plastic. They crystallize in the human body. So it hardened cells that are made with that oil will crystallize and harden. So it is exactly the opposite. And like I tell everybody, whatever you hear from the media, whatever you hear from the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry, 99 times out of 100, if you do the exact opposite, you'll be doing it correctly.
So cirrhosis of the liver. A good friend of mine has cirrhosis. He gave up drinking, I think, 20 or 30 years ago. And he got cirrhosis of the liver. And he said, well, it's because of his drinking. And so what you would say is the hydrogenated oils would have affected his liver that way?
Absolutely. Yep.
I was to even conclude from that study that if you're eating a clean diet and you're not exposed to any pollutants, and you're eating cooked animal food, the worst you're going to get is probably one of
Those ones 5. If we hadn't grown up in a polluted society, you have to understand, these people are in the jungle. Their fire is the only pollution they have.
We're starting 10 strikes against us.
1,000 strikes against, 60,000 chemicals strikes against us.
What do you see as with meat that the government's doing? Do you see it now? Do you think they're putting stuff in the meat, or they're going to start putting antibacterial?
They put MSG in. They put the FDA approved 5 or 6 viruses to spray on meats to destroy bacteria. That was just done 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. And they allow you to put ammonia, Clorox on any counter and not clean it off completely, so your meats get cut on that. Put ammonia in the meat too. Yep.
No, I don't think people are aware of that. I mean, most people that buy meat have no
Most
idea.
people are asleep about all that because your media doesn't cover it. The only way you're going to know is research it yourself.
They're not required to disclose it.
That's right.
It's on the label for them.
Now
And
that
the FDA is owned by those pharmaceutical and the food industry.
So when you buy fish, like from a fish market, I mean, I always smell before it's out there. Usually the fish market that is rated. So do you wash the fish? Do you wash the meat?
Now, what I tell them to do is say, get out a fresh cut. I want you to wash that board off completely,
Really?
only with water, and I want to see you slice it with a clean water, clean knife only, and dry. I make them cut it all myself.
Okay.
I make them cut it right in front of me.
Oh, you mean a fresh fish?
That's right.
Oh, not one that's in the...
In the tray.
Catalina Co-op down by Seawall. You can go into their stock room,
Yeah?
watch them take it right off the rack and cut it in front of you. Oh, Catalina Offshore Products or something like that. Do a web search. You'll find it. It's right down there by Seawall exit. They got fresh, good fresh stuff.
Comes right off the boat to them, too.
Scallops, steers, scallops, $5.50 a pound.
Instead of 19 a pound.
The base
You
scallop.
go there.
A lot of local fish.
Stock up.
Fish, $5, $6 a pound.
Because they get it directly from the boat. There's not 3 or
Yeah.
5 distributors in between.
So even the meat when we
Catalina
buy...
Offshore Products.
How long, if you buy a bunch of tuna off the boat, let's say, how long could you keep it in your refrigerator? I mean, do you have to eat it right away, or how long would it hold up?
I've kept it up to a year and 3 months. You haven't seen my...
A big
The
pardon?
tuna?
You haven't seen Ripley's Believe It or Not?
No, I have not. I'm sorry, I missed that one. A year and 3 months you
I've
could
had it
raw
up to a
tuna?
year and 3 months.
I thought that was just the meat.
Fish.
That was fish?
No, I had glands. You had to see, I had jars all along my porch, remember, on that shot? You went by and I had everything. I had glands. I had organs.
Was it refrigerated?
No.
So
I wanted it to decay and rot, but that's a whole nother subject.
You know, I've read about that.
You have
I'm
to read
glad no
about
one
it,
brought
yeah.
that because I don't know. I'm
Don't
ready for that
scare
yet.
'em.
It's
Don't
all
scare 'em.
pre-digested. It's completely. It's like your bacteria does inside your body. It's just like kefir and yogurt. You're letting the bacteria break it down before you eat it,
Well, in
so
terms-
it's very easily absorbable.
I understand that, but in terms of baby steps, if I wanted to
Look at this guy.
Yeah, baby steps. Cool. Hey, man.
the baby steps towards a diet, how long, like in a refrigerator, could stay like almost indefinitely?
I've never had it. I've never let it go more than a year and 3 months, so I can't tell you indefinitely.
But when it gets slimy and it smells,
If people freak
That's
out
the
between
best
their
part.
mouths.
Just
Fresh fish will
if
stay
you
about
cut your gut open, that's how it would smell in your gut.
Just gonna have
Yeah.
anybody to primal people over.
You can't breathe on
no
anybody.
more roommates.
That walk
getting
in
to the
boat.
fish.
Lisa, no more
You buy
roommates.
some fresh fish, shove it in a jar.
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't have access. Try to cut it
getting
to a
eggs,
size
fresh
that
eggs,
just
but
fills the jar.
they don't have any-
Screw the
They
cap
only
on
eat
so there's
meat.
no air in it. It'll
You know,
fresh
except berries. We'll eat some
Really?
berries in the summer.
Because,
That's it.
Oxygen exposure.
It's not like you need.
okay, because it's interesting because I know I bought this.
Hold on, we can only have one person at a time. So, anyway, the normal process is I go around and ask each person a question. So now that we've finished my soliloquy here, then we'll go around.
Are there
Okay.
any ways to keep things like you were doing with the olive oil, that you put the meat in the jar?
Yes,
Is that
I
still
then
a good idea?
right before 2000, a friend of mine hunted a deer, So I butchered it and cut up all the pieces and the glands and everything. And I got 38 pounds of it, and he got 40 pounds of it. And we downed the glands right away. I was high for 3 days. So I didn't sleep. I was very tired. I had given a workshop on Saturday, had seen patients for 2 days in Nevada City, and then just as I was about to leave, I had to go pick my girlfriend up at Nevada Airport. So I had a good drive. I was going to take a nap. So he shoots this deer. So nobody knows how to butcher the thing, so I had to butcher it. So that took 3 hours to skin it and butcher the whole thing, get it all into cuts, to be able to package. So I spent that whole 3 hours doing that, took the glands, threw it in a big blender with milk and blended it all together, and we all drank it all right there. And I think they had a little bit left, and I took a cup of it, and they kept a couple of cups of it. And I went to pick up my girlfriend. I was not tired. I was wide awake. We had sex for 5 hours. The next day she was tired. I wasn't tired. So I gave her half a cup of the glands, and I had another half. And we basically didn't sleep for 2 days. And had lots of sex. And we went out and visited, that Salt Lake, what was it called? There's a bunch of lakes that I thought they were freshwater lakes. Pyramid Lake. Yeah. Go out to Pyramid Lake, and I'm expecting fresh water. I dive into the salt water. I almost died. And this was winter, too. So, anyway, I had him ship the meat for me back to Malibu. So I packed all the meat up. I dried it a little bit on either side for about 3-4 hours on either side.
Sun-dried?
Slices.
Sun-dried?
No, in the house. There was no sun those days that I was doing it. That's why I would have just left that in the sun for maybe 20-30 minutes on either side. The meat, yeah. And I cut it in slices about a ½ inch thick, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick. And then I stuffed them in 1.5 quart gallon jars. And first I put either peanut oil. At that time we could get a completely raw peanut oil. Never heated over 104 degrees. But it's so expensive to make. They had such a demand for it that they just go for the cheap stuff now, so they don't produce it anymore. But I put about a cup in the bottom, 3/4 to a cup of the oil in the bottom, and then stuff the meat around. And of course the oil would come up and coat the meat. And then I would put more in as I stuffed more of the meat in until it was not a lot of oil, but just so it covered the surface of all the meat. And then up to the top about a ½ inch above the meat level. And I didn't put any, usually you'd put a beeswax sealer on the top of that. And that's normally how you do it, to keep any gases or anything from any oxidation of it. But I just put the lids on it. I wanted to see what happened with just the oil without beeswax. And I just opened the last one in December, last December, and it was 10 years old. And it was perfectly good.
Use olive oil?
Pardon?
You use olive oil?
Yeah, you can use olive oil, but it's still, you have to understand, olive oil is in a very acidic compound. And when you eat, it'll kind of like burn when it's that old, kind of like burns. Well, when it's soaked in the meat, it even burns more. It's like cod liver oil. You know how potent and burns that is? It was like that, but it was. I didn't eat the olive oil, except that was on the meat, and I took the meat and scraped off a bit of it, but I ate the meat. But it had the peanut oil and it had the olive oil in it, but it didn't stink. I mean, didn't stink badly.
And coconut oil works?
Coconut oil ferments. Yeah, it doesn't work the same.
And that was kept at room temperature.
Room temperature. Yep.
You can't, so
in a cupboard.
So you're saying you can't get the peanut oil, so is there any other alternative oil that you would suggest?
Just the olive oil is it. But there was a scientist that Vladimir Stephenson talked about who put raw meat in buttermilk and kept it for 10 years. Raw buttermilk, yeah. So.
What about putting on a clothesline when it's dry?
Then you've got beef jerky. Then you have no active enzymes in it.
Okay.
So it's not really digestible. The Eskimos, when they would make their pemmican every year, which pemmican is they take meat, lay it out, dry it out till it was really hard, then they would pound it into a powder and then take whale or seal blubber or whatever fat they can get in the sun till it melted, put it with the powdered meat, and then let it soak in and make hard blocks of it. And each one would make a 90-pound block every year to get them through the winter in case they didn't get a fish or an animal to eat. But if they didn't eat any of it, or whatever they didn't eat by spring, they buried it, wouldn't eat it, because it's an inferior food. Even though it's not cooked, it's dehydrated. If I dehydrate you to death, how much work are you going to do for me? You can't bring it back to life. So they just bury it. So anything that's completely dried is a survival food, but it's not a vibrant, health-giving food. Do you have a question, Lisa? Oh, thank Lisa for being our host today.
Well, I want to go back to the egg thing because even like this lady that ate 33 eggs, or I eat other eggs, I haven't been eating those eggs. I still feel better when I eat them, and if I don't feel good, or I just can't eat, or something like that, digesting to me is like a survival food. So since I've already been eating them, I mean, all of a sudden I stop, I don't feel good, I don't feel good. So is the risk just go ahead and continue?
Well, I would just get the best you can.
And that's, how do you get these? Just call the person?
You have to call them and ask how much soy is in their feed.
But it's pretty much going to be in there, so
Yeah.
eating that stuff.
Yeah, it's like Rocky Jr. is the best chicken. If I had to eat chicken, I would eat Rocky Jr. as I did before. It's only 25 to 35% soy. Rosie is 85% soy.
You know what Henry's chicken is?
Not now, I knew back then. But who knows? You have to call them every year and see if they've changed.
Because if you feel better on the egg, what's been your side effect of soy and GMOs? What does the GMOs cause? Cancer?
No, they cause deformities. They cause hormonal imbalances. They cause severe allergies. In some laboratory animals, they kill them within, a third of their normal life.
So side by side, you're feeling better, but you'll get worse. At what point?
It's like vitamin supplements. They can make you feel better, but in the long run, they're going to knock you down.
Yeah, you're collecting a lot of complexity. So that's where you're just going to wait it out for you to sort of in the meantime, do you feel dehydrated or weird or anything like that? Without eggs, sometimes eggs are dry and sometimes they're good for, especially like making a milkshake without the eggs or,
Just have to use coconut cream and dairy cream until you get the eggs. Not the same. But yeah, we have to do the best we can.
How long did you go without eggs?
Well, I've gone as long as 6 weeks without eggs in the past. I've been already talking with the Amish farmers as recently as 5 days ago, and they're going to give it. They say they can get it together in 2 to 3 weeks.
And they ship it to us?
Ship it to us.
And they ship us if we order on the phone, like when we get the cheese.
Yeah, we'll all have I'm going to bring it into L.A. I'm going to have it shipped into L.A. and then we can distribute it from there. Just have to have somebody come up and get it, or somebody would have to bring it down here.
Not through Russia.
No.
There's enough of a supply here.
Yeah.
There's enough of a
And we'll have chickens and we'll have eggs.
And there's enough of a supply that
There will be. Right now, they can supply us only with about, probably 30 dozen a week, eggs, and maybe, 20 chickens a week. That's all they can supply. And I said, I need 200 dozen a week, and I need 60 chickens a week. So they're going to, he's going to go to his family of Amish farmers and get their chickens from them so he can have it all in one place and control the quality the way I want it.
Well, consider getting free chickens, like you would not
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Right?
Have to hide the
Throw your meat, your scrap meats out. Of course, you've got dogs to feed the same way.
Yeah. So I don't know, I don't know if coyotes can get a cage or not. At some point,
Coyotes can't get over this wall.
they know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's yielded over there where there's plants on. It's been a while. But, so if I did my own chickens, you have 5 chickens, how many eggs?
Well, they can lay 2 each a day, except in very cold times they'll only lay 1.
You need a rooster. Neighbors don't like roosters.
Yeah, well, I don't want a rooster chicken.
You need a rooster. They won't let you get
Well, if you
dry.
want them fertile, but you don't need them fertile. The reason I put fertilizer in the book was because you knew that if they were getting screwed, they were all running around and not just in a cage this small.
Okay, so I can just have 5 female chickens and
Yep.
just feed them meat scraps and what you said, right?
I tried it up there in Malibu, but the first week, the coyotes had eaten all but 2.
Yeah, that's right.
So you did put them in a cage?
Yeah, I had a cage, but they broke into the cage. One even went through I had a screen door like that. One came right through, had a chicken on the screen. And I was right there in the room.
It's not the coyotes, the raccoons are good. Raccoons are horrible.
Possums and possums.
Yeah, possums too. All 3 of them. They love it. But these fences to keep most of the possums. Oh, no, I don't know.
You need a bigger dog.
Big dog.
No, the small dogs are
The
good.
Scottish Terrier. That'd be
Small
right.
dogs are real good. Keep the coyotes away. Yeah, they make noise.
Yeah, the little dog.
Coyotes are annoyed by little dogs and their noise.
I've heard that quail are more prolific layers than the tuners. Have you ever heard about that?
Yeah, but you have to have so many quail.
They're small.
Yeah, they're small, very small.
I know you only have to have 5. In India, there was a family that, I don't know, really had 20 members in this family, and they had 5 little quail.
Yeah, but they only had 2 per meal. 2 eggs per 2 eggs a day. How many can 5 produce? 10 eggs. So,
Yeah, I know that's kind of, but
Can you tell a good egg out of
online.
this if you
Pardon?
eat it? Can you tell, like I got 3 different egg cartons at Trader Joe's. And I wondered if you could, like if you cracked each one of them, could you tell if there's soy in it or could you tell if they're good?
I can usually taste and smell it in the yolk and in the egg white.
Yeah, some eggs are very different. What's it like to
Can we do a test?
Well, in those are fed corn. Of course, they're yellower naturally, almost orange.
Yes.
But if it's GMO corn, it leaves a bad aftertaste for me.
So they can still be orangey, but they'll be fed, having eggs are fed GMO.
GMO corn, yes.
I always thought it was the color that really was a big deal. The more orange they are.
No, that just tells you whether they're given grain, straight grain or soy, or they're given good, rich, corn. But the corn can be...
If they're eating grass and bugs, they get more of an orange.
Yes, that too, yeah. Bugs, especially in meat, then they'll get very orange.
That's an egg question. How long can you go, how high can an egg get while still be productive?
Yeah.
How many months out? Like how long can you?
The Chinese keep eggs for 25 years, called
What
the
would you
century egg.
suggest when they really start to turn black and smelly?
That's when they sell them.
So what's the purpose of flavors?
No, it's completely pre-digested.
So it'll still get nutritional value.
That's what you get the most.
Is it still protein left versus bacteria?
The bacteria, their waste is our food. So there's nothing but waste left after 25 years. That's why octogenarians, in China will pay $1,000 for one of those eggs.
So I think most
They can have sex for, it's like Viagra.
Right.
It'll be high for 28 days, 30 days.
Oh,
One egg.
One egg is
Yeah.
going to be like Viagra?
Yeah. But it's 25-year-old egg. It's either completely white inside or completely black inside. And it's all powder.
With the commercial nature of our society and how Viagra's going on, I can't imagine someone hasn't went with a 25-year-old egg as an aphrodisiac.
Nobody's going to pay $1,000 for an egg except the Chinese man.
Well, if you got somebody who's 80 years old and all of a sudden he's got sexual prowess at that age, I'm sure that's
it's
there are
not
enough
marketable.
old wealthy guys walking around in Palm Springs. I mean, they'd be paying $1,000 not thinking about it.
Burying your egg.
Yeah, they aren't appetizing either for the main regular palate.
He says we're going to eat our tree mushrooms. Don't worry about
No, eat
I
them.
throw them away just because I think, oh, it smells so bad.
Oh, that's the best time to have them.
And if
They're
it
all
gives you
pre-digested.
diarrhea, what does that mean? It's just a lot of bacteria cleaning your house? Or what? Just go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
They didn't have them refrigerated or anything?
Not supposed to refrigerate eggs because they lose their bacteria
Oh, is that what it
So you should be taking eggs out all the time.
all the time. Never refrigerate eggs.
I'd like to change the subject a little bit. What are your thoughts in reference to people work?
If you're changing the subject, then I've got to go around when we get to you.
Oh,
Okay? Joe, do you have a question?
Can we still trust the bison from Rossum that they're not vaccinated?
Yeah, they definitely, Mary Gracie, who owns North Star Bison, who we get the buffalo from, assures us that we never get a vaccinated female or a dewormed.
So that would be our best source of beef, right?
I would suggest that you never eat any of the bison that's from the neck up. Because when they deworm them, they put that right along the spinal cord, which creates CJD. That's mad cow disease. Disintegrates the spinal cord and brain.
Well, the normal beef wouldn't be from the neck up.
Pardon?
The normal beef wouldn't be from the neck up.
No, correct.
Yeah, and as long as you don't get brain or something like that, right?
I wouldn't get a brain from one of those. No.
Yeah.
I get brains from Amos. It's usually pig's brain or calf's brain.
Does any of the meat come from Amos? None of it does, right?
Well, a lot of it
You're
comes
good
from
about that.
Yeah.
You can order meat from
The
Amos,
lamb, the pork.
but not beef.
There may be some there. You just have to check by week
Yeah.
and see what's available.
Oh, okay.
Because Amos freezes a lot of his meat once it's butchered. So we only accept meat from him when he just butchers it. It's non-frozen.
So we could get lamb and pork. That would be good.
Lamb and pork. I eat it all the time.
What kind of cuts do you get out of it?
Oh, you everybody know I got banned from, I'm not allowed to go to Rawson.
You have someone
If
go for you?
James wasn't part owner of the lot, I could say, James, and I did, I wrote him a notice. I said, you have no authority because I'm the one who runs Rawson clubs and all the other clubs under the right to choose healthy food. If you read the contract, I'm it. You cannot ban me from the members club. I am the main member. You know? I said, but it is your lot. You own it, and you can ban me from the lot. You know. So. But he tried to ban all the members who were involved in helping me get all the evidence. What does that tell you? Yeah. So I told him he cannot ban these people if he wants to restrict them from going to the property, and he can't revoke their membership because he doesn't he's not in charge of the membership. I am. So he has to deliver the food for them to pick up somewhere.
Really?
So I told him that. Yeah. We'll see how he honors it, but I sent it to his attorney too. This guy is way out to lunch. Way out to lunch. Okay, so you have a question.
U.S. Wellness needs.
Great. John's very good. Took me 2 years to get him to go to good quality and not freeze it.
Yeah. And you still, so you still buy the cheese and everything else from Boston?
I get everything from Rawson but the chicken and the eggs.
So who gets it for you?
Well, I went there last Wednesday and just freaked everybody out. I mean, James, I walked in, James shot out. Just walked out. You know, so then I got, the letter from his attorney.
Abraham acted really strange the other day when he delivered to us. He was as quiet as can be, and he was not normally like that.
Well, he doesn't want anybody attacking him about the whole issue.
His mouth was closed.
He was expecting people to talk about the issue.
Yeah, he was really funny.
Yeah. He was apprehensive what he was going to tell people.
Yeah.
Can anybody start another club?
We already have one already almost. They bought the refrigerators. We're just trying to line up the farmers to ship them stuff. And that one should be opened in 2 weeks. And then that will be in Tahunga. And then there's another one that should open up in Echo Park within a month and a half. Raw Healthy Foods. R-A-R-A, like the sun god Ra. Raw Healthy Foods.
And they'll be on the internet too?
Yeah, there will be a website. They're working it out right now.
So they deliver down
Should
here?
be up in a week.
Will they deliver down here?
I don't know.
How far is
Depends upon how much.
Tahunga?
Tahunga's in the valley.
That's worse for us then.
Yeah, that's on the other side of Los Angeles.
All right, Echo then?
Echo Park's closer. Just left of downtown, Trail City. So there'll be 2 that open up, and I really don't know. That building and safety, I don't think they're going to give James a permit for any of those buildings on there because he didn't do it ahead of time. He'll get closed down. So he's got to move it somewhere else. And that's what I told him, and the attorneys told him at first. A land developer, move it, get it into Santa Monica where we're not going to be hassled,
We could even have them here.
Pardon?
Have it deal with their life.
Sure, you could have one here.
Nobody will buy anything.
We already have one. Why not?
What do you have here?
Huh?
What do you have here?
Co-op.
They get it from Rawson
From Rawson, so when it's open-
once every 2 weeks, is it?
Yeah, but once they close, then you got it.
Well, that's where we're ordering direct from Amos, ordering from Lawson, so we can lock it up.
Well, what we could do is we just order.
No, not from Amos, from Lawson.
We order. What you do is order what you need and come on the same truck. Then somebody has to go up to get it.
Yeah, but I'd say bypass that because we just have one house here somewhere in San Diego.
I know. What I'm saying is the same truck.
Oh,
The same truck.
just stop off here.
No, not stop up here. You have to go to L.A. He won't come here.
Just get the full bulk order to send to LA.
Even for Rawson, they have to go downtown and pick up all that food. It doesn't get delivered to Rawson. In Venice, they have to go downtown and at a certain distribution warehouse to unpack it, to unload it and put it on their trucks, and then take it from downtown to here. You'd have to do the same thing with a van or something.
I mean, like, my phone myself to send something.
No, you'll have to work it out through whoever's working it there. But John Reed. John Reed will be running that one. and you just send him your order or fax it or whatever, and he won't have to do much work. You'll just have to meet them when it comes in.
Oh, wow.
That way you won't have the higher markup.
You meet them up there.
Meet them up in Los Angeles downtown.
So somebody
Hire
you have
somebody.
to kind of organize that.
Yeah, right.
When do you have to get the ship to
There's not enough.
So you're going to have to transfer it onto a truck to bring it down here, and that's going to cost you a bloody fortune. You're talking about food. It has to stay refrigerated. It has to be handled in a certain way.
There's not enough demand down here.
No.
The demand is so small.
Yeah, we only order maybe $1,000, $1,200
Yeah, we're lucky
worth
if we get
We only
$1,200.
have like 3 or 4 people.
I spend $350 a week just for my own food.
Joe's half of that order. He orders $400 or $500, $600 worth.
I know, but that's how things get started. Rawson didn't start out that way. I mean,
Started off in a garage just selling the raw milk
Exactly. More people know about it, you know.
that we bootlegged in.
Tell them about it. This is a business,
Okay, do you have a question? No? Ray, do you have a question?
Yeah, this is an interesting case. So the people who wear contact lenses, this is myself based on solution versus LASIK surgery and so on. What are your thoughts?
Well, as long as you're on a good diet, I've had many people do laser surgery. They heal 3 times faster than the average. They can go out in the sun in 10 days. Their eyes are completely healed in 10 days, so it's not a problem. And they never use the antibiotics. I tell them not to tell the doctor they're not going to use the antibiotics. Accept the antibiotics, but do not put them in your eyes and do not take them. That destroys the bacteria that can lead to keloiding of the tissue. You have to understand that about 90% of the people who have LASIK surgery have difficulty. And that's because they're using antibiotics. Eye doesn't heal properly. So I don't mind. You use, LASIK surgery. It's going to take a long time to readjust because what happens is your cornea warps. Whether it flattens or extends. That depends whether you have nearsightedness or farsightedness. The cornea is warping. To be on this diet long enough and put enough egg white in your eye every day and sometimes a tiny bit of butter with a drop of pineapple juice in it to rework the cornea will take years. So when laser surgery, you can go on that. If you're on a good diet, you're going to heal properly. And the people that the first people that I suggested, yeah, let's go on a good idea. I don't see there any harm in it. Nikki Ng, a Chinese lady, she did it when she was about 37. And that was in 1994. And Louis Kangimi did it in about 1992. Maybe it was earlier than that. Maybe he did it in 1989. This is 89. And their eyes are still in great condition. Haven't had to wear glasses anymore in that whole time. No wearing glasses anymore. No wearing contacts.
How do you do the butter? I tried to put some, just a very thin film.
You have to get the butter liquid.
Okay,
So it has to be warm enough, either in your hand or in a jar that's immersed in a tiny bit of hot water.
Okay, so you actually get a drop.
It has to get it completely wet. And then you just take a little piece of pineapple and you squeeze 1 drop into it, into like a teaspoon of butter. And you mix that around while it's warm, and then you just tap it on your little finger, bottom. You hold your eyelid down, your lower one. You look up and you rub it along the white of the eye. And then you just roll it around so it gets everywhere. And you wait 2-3 minutes so the cloud goes away, and that neutralifies the eye. And with egg white, it only takes a minute to absorb the egg white.
Yeah, wearing those
protein.
White, when I do it, I take my contacts out, get dab, and I look this way, and I put it this side, and I look the other way. And then I notice as I sleep throughout the night, my eyes are shut
from the drying of the egg white.
Right,
Yes.
so I try to wake up, it's like,
Right.
but actually they feel better because by the time
Oh,
I
they're
put
so
the
much
contacts
better, yeah.
back in the next morning, it's like, oh, this feels great.
Yeah.
Now, isn't a contact lens solution toxic for
Yes.
What do you do
A
about-
lot of
what do
them
you
have
do about that?
thimerosal in it, which is liquid mercury, but they make it without it with glycerin. But yeah, there's nothing you can put on the eye but aloe vera juice in place of, pardon? Real aloe vera juice. You know. Right. So, you know, you can put that in your eye and contact over that. But, you know, the butter you can't do because it would create a film. Egg white you can't do because it creates a film.
So the LASIK surgery that they can't just go to.
But what I tell people to do is just take some distilled water and put a few grains of sea salt in it. So you have saline water, and it's pure. There's nothing else in it, no anything. And if you're putting either aloe vera or egg white in your eye or butter in your eye, you're coating it and you're nurturing it. You don't need glycerin. Glycerin is a chemical compound. It isn't natural when they finish making glycerin. It may have come from cellulose, but by the time they chemically treat it and produce it, it's no longer anything but a chemical, a gelatinized chemical.
How long did the gal use the butter and the pineapple to get her vision better?
Well, she used mainly butter, but once in a while she used pineapple. She went from about 3/8 of an inch thick glasses to 1/8 of an inch thick in a year and a half.
Have you ever tried it?
Every day?
She did it every day.
Have you ever tried it?
I'm too lazy, you know.
You?
I've got so many other things to do, I'm
Yeah,
lazy
it's like
for
one more
that.
thing on the list, right?
You're not saying to put that in your eye until right after surgery, right?
No, you can put the egg white in your eye right after surgery, and use the aloe vera right after surgery. But the butter, I would wait a day, 24 or 36 hours. Pardon?
It can pull the, it won't have healed enough.
Oh, none of those will. Even the butter won't rip it off. Butter adds healing. Let me give you an example. See this toe? See the bad shape it looks like it's in? 8 weeks ago, the foreman on my land in Thailand dropped a 90-pound post, wooden post, on the corner. Hit this toe. It took all of the skin from here all the way down to here off. So all was gone. This nail was up. I didn't do anything with this one because it was just bruised. But this one was ripped to pieces. And it was painful. And it split the bone from here to here, right down the center. Well, it was a little thing. So. I mean, that's little to you. Little to me. So what I did was I put lime juice on it right away to give her, because lime juice is an anesthetic and will surround any particle and neutralize it so your body doesn't have to utilize white blood cells and infection to remove it. So, had no pussing whatsoever from this. The skin was gone from here all the way to here. I mean, it hit, it bounced. So it just like cut the skin away. So there was no saving. And I thought the nail was going to go too, but I thought the nail was protected, so I didn't remove it. So I put the lime juice on it, put honey on it. I had coconut cream with me, but not the butter. But as soon as I got back to the hotel, I put butter on it and a meat slab. And then over the meat slab, I cut a piece of watermelon rind, the size of that to go around to keep the meat from drying. So So I wrap that around. I don't like using plastic when I don't have to. So I use that and wrap it around with a gauze elastic bandage, and then kept it. And the nail reattached. And after about, I guess it was 5 days, I just let it sit for 5 days. I didn't change the bandage or anything. And when I took it off, there was still quite a wedge around the bottom cuticle of the nail that was missing. So a lot of the Thai people that worked for me there said, "Oh, we've got an herb that'll really make this," I said, "Get it for me." So he got it, he made it into a poultice, put it on. When I took it off the neck, it got so painful by morning. I took it off, and it had caused all of the healing that happened in 5 days to completely reverse. It ripped all of my skin away. I was fit to be tied, so I had to wrap it back up again, and then I went to the Philippines, and after 5 days, it was the same way, just that little section out again, and they had a nerve, and I was not going to be closed-minded because I wanted to test all herbs. So they had their mixture, so they put it on there, the green mixture too, put it on there. Same thing happened. 24 hours later, all that healing had reversed. So I said, maybe it works for you guys who live on rice, but it does not work for me. So I just wrapped it around with the meat. Here it is 8 weeks later. I have the nail. Of course, this nail looked like this one as far as the shape of the toe. Now I've got a much longer nail, but it's there, it's attached. And then you can see how it was bruised. See how this one's bruised? The red blood cells are still under the nail. This one was that way too, but the meat pulled those red blood cells out or allowed the body to dissolve them. So, worked beautifully.
Meat, lime juice,
Pardon?
butter. Meat, lime juice, and butter.
Lime juice, honey, either butter or coconut cream, and then meat over that.
Stock.
No, I told you, wrapped it in a bandage. I wear sandals there. It's too hot. Wear shoes. And anyway, that toe would not like a shoe because that's where the bend is. So I had to wear sandals. Just kept it wrapped. But I continued working. Broken, split bone, excruciating, throbbing pain. I continued working.
What did you do for the pain?
Pardon?
What did you do for the pain?
Nothing.
You didn't have any meat falling or?
Well, I had some cheese and butter and honey. Do you have a question?
Do you have any remedies or suggestions for
Tinnitus?
tinnitus?
Tinnitus. Do you have is it high pitched? Is it low pitched?
High pitch.
High pitch? That's excessive fluid in your ears. What you do at night, you take a hot water bottle and you put it on one ear one night and let it evaporate. That'll take care of the ringing in that ear for 2 or 3 days till it builds up again. Then you do it on that ear. You have to do that cycle, and you can't do the same ear the same day, 2 days in a row, because then you'll be imbalanced and you'll lose your equilibrium. You get dizzy.
Sleep on hot water.
Yeah, you sleep on a hot water bottle to let the excess fluid in the ear evaporate.
Other times you use the hot water bottle, you said not to lay on it, you said to put it on top. Is that the case?
Well, no, I say lay on the side so you're not putting pressure on it, and you're not putting pressure on it this way. You lay beside it so the heat's moving upward at your head.
What about clicking? Clicking noise.
That's dryness, and the wax is getting in, the wax is moving, and that creates a clicking sound. So that's wax in the ear.
I wonder if you went out to water bottle.
As warm as you can take it, probably 130 degrees, and then you wrap it with a flannel pillowcase or a towel. And you don't want to put that hot of a object right up against your ear, but close. Once the towel or the the wrapped flannel pillowcases on it, you've got a barrier between it. So that prevents it from being too hot. But it takes at least probably 112 degrees to get it to perspire in one night enough to remove the ringing in one night. If it's a low pitch sound, that means you've got some kind of nasty fluid in there. With usually when you have a lot of fluid, you've got a lot of heavy metals leaving the brain trying to dump out the ear in the earwax. So that'll create a high pitch sound. If you have things like iron or lower vibrational metals, that brings a low sound. That's a little harder to remove. You may have to, do it every night instead of every 3 nights.
Is ear candy
That's a way to perspire it, but it, you need to leave it on a long time. It's so much easier, and you don't have to. You can do it while you're asleep. You can't candle while you're asleep. So, do you have a question, David?
You had mentioned Crohn's before, and is the primary approach like large numbers of raw eggs?
Yes, because the intestines, when you have Crohn's, usually the physiological process of that is that you stop making proper mucus to line the intestines. Your own digestive acids start eating away your intestinal lining, so it becomes thinner and thinner. So what happens is the gut gets so thin that it will often cause tearing if you eat too much. And that's called leaky gut. When food particles, undigested food particles, pass into your gut out of the intestines, and they usually travel to the knees first. Not always, but probably 80% of the time. So people start having knee problems, knee aches, knee swelling, because the body sends the particles down to the knee, and the knee forms acids to become a digestive tract to break it down. That causes 80% of all arthritis and rheumatism, is leaky gut. The knees and joints weren't supposed to be made to be a digestive organ. So eating the eggs allows the intestines to work very little, and yet they get all these nutrients to nutrify. And when you have the egg white and the egg yolk together, it builds a good mucus. So all of a sudden, within like 24, 36 hours, a case of Crohn's disease can be in the process of reversal.
Would that be the same for? I have a relative who has had Crohn's for many years, and it seems to have evolved into chronic fatigue syndrome. Would it be the same kind of?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And obviously, for someone like this who isn't used to eggs, raw eggs, how do you think that's the consume?
Always by themselves. Otherwise, you mix them with milk. It's going to take 6 to 10 hours to digest them, and it's complicated. So they have to be just down Rocky style, or the way I do, sucked right out of an eggshell. Did she see Rocky?
Yeah.
He breaks the 5 eggs in, and then you got to go like this. It doesn't work if you don't go like this.
So if you mix them with milk, it really complicates.
It slows it down. It takes 6 to 10 hours to digest raw milk.
Would you still get the benefit though over time?
It won't be the same. It's going to take you much longer, sometimes 20 times longer.
So how long?
Those eggs are so pure and absorb so fast, there's no difficulty. If let's say the milk finds a spot where you've already torn and you've got an ulceration there that's not healing, and it tears every time, and you have leaky gut in that spot every time. When it reaches that area is not going to be able to heal, because you're going to have digestive juices and acids and bacteria working on the food in that spot. If you have the egg's already absorbed within 5 inches of the intestine. So the intestines don't have to work anywhere for digestion except for that first 5 inches.
So let's say, for instance, someone had colon cancer and their colon had been removed, and they had a ileostomy done. The best route for their nutritious revitalization would be just raw eggs, as many as possible.
That's it. Yep. Raw eggs and milk.
And milk.
The problem with your colon is where your last stage of digestion happens, and the E. coli mainly are responsible for breaking the fats and proteins down to the finite molecule to feed your brain and nervous system. People who have psychological problems like depression and anxiety is different. Anxiety is not exercising. Depression is always a lack of bacteria. So if they don't have a colon, they're not going to be breaking their food down into the finite molecules to feed the brain and the nervous system. So they need to eat rotten eggs or rotten meat to supply it. Like in my episode of Ripley's Believe It or Not, I had 2 patients there. One had been on psychotropic drugs for 27 years. 7 different kinds a day she took, and about, I think, somewhere around 30 of those pills daily. 30 of the 7 daily. And she was a basket case. So finally I got her to eat, the conversation went like this. I said, well, you can't stay on the diet because you're mostly distraught. You're not feeding your brain nervous system even though you're on this diet because you're not digesting the finite proteins and fats. So you got to eat the high meat. I'm already on this diet that's antisocial on the raw meat. Bam! Hung up on it. So a few hours later, okay, how do I make this high meat? I said, it's in the book, but what you can do is just you cut up the meat and you put it, leave meat space and half air space in it, and you open it every few days out of the refrigerator, 2 to 3 days to air it out to get the aerobic bacteria going well, as well as the anaerobic bacteria, so you have all breeds. And it'll take about I don't have 14 days. I said, okay, well, I have another patient who makes a lot of it and eats it every day because he had the same problem as you, and he eats the high meat every day and he has plenty. Maybe he'll sell you some. So I called him, gave him her number. He called her. So I got a call. She called me like 2 o'clock in the afternoon the first time. So this is like 9 o'clock at night. Okay, I got the high meat from James. Another James, not James Stewart. And I got this high meat. I really worried. I ate some of it, and it's awful smelling, and it's bad tasting, and I think I'm going to have a real problem. So I let the answering machine, I just listened, and I said, okay. Because I knew I'd babysit her all night. So every 45 minutes to an hour, she called. And every 45 minutes to an hour, she got a little bit better. By the 5 o'clock, 5:15, 5:20 in the morning, something like that came. I'm going to stay on this phone until you answer. And then she started whistling. I said, now's the time to answer. So I said, look at your mood. When's the last time you whistled in your life? When's the last time you played like that in your life? Oh, that's right. I said, now you got through the whole night on your own. You don't need me. You're strong. You got through the whole night on your own, and you ate this putrid, nasty stuff that the FDA thinks says is going to kill you. And look what it's done. It's made you happy. It made you happy in 10 to 20 minutes compared to what you were before. And here now we're what? 7 hours, 8 hours beyond when you ate it, and you are a different person. So she went on Ripley's Believe It or Not after eating a year like that, rotten, stinky high meat, and ate it right there on Ripley's with another patient and I. The FDA wants you sick because they work for the FDA, they work for the medical institution, the pharmaceuticals, and they work for the food industry. They're going to back everything that they want. They believe, they want you to believe, that bacteria is responsible for all disease. Bacteria is not responsible for any disease. Your body is 99% bacteria. For every one gene that you have, a human gene, you have 100 bacterial genes in your body. You're 1% human. You're 99% bacterial. And if you don't believe me, get online and go to TED and go for bacteria. And there was a bacteriologist who talks about it. We're 90 to 99%. But microbiologists tell you you're 90 to 90% by 99% bacteria. She believes 99% because there's 100 to 1 genes. She says, I tell people they're 1% human. So she's one of those microbiologists that believe that 99% bacterial. And I go along with it. We are 99%. Why should we be afraid of bacteria? It's the dumbest thing in the world. And yet people buy it all the time. That's the whole article in my next newsletter that will come out this week. And it talks about that. It talks about all of the chemicals that are putting in antibiotic soaps. There are two main chemicals that are hormone disruptors, and I've listed all the products, and it is an incredible list, from toothpaste all the way down to shampoos, deodorants, you name it, it's in it. And then I go into a section where in your household, and it's in a slew of those household. These are hormone disruptors that prevent fertility, that prevent proper sperm counts and sperm resilience. These are only two of the chemicals that are studied. All of these chemicals create disease, not bacteria. If bacteria were the cause of disease, I would be dead 1,000 times. And it isn't true. Okay, do you have a question? Oh, David, that was your question. Do you have a question?
Sometimes I make sauerkraut.
Uh-huh.
I use salt.
You like to be sour?
No. I was going to ask that. Could you
Fine, but no salt.
use what, whey?
Whey or lemon juice or vinegar.
Okay.
And if you're going to use vinegar, just use a small amount because it will just melt it. Unless you're going to eat it right away. It'll make it faster. You can do sauerkraut in like 24 hours if you use vinegar. But if you use whey, it's going to take 3, 4 days, 5 days. If you use lemon juice, it's not going to taste as good, but it will break it down. Not quite as fast as vinegar, but close. The reason you don't want to do salt, because salt is an explosive. It's the most volatile explosive on the planet. If you isolate pure sodium, a block of sodium this big will take out New York City. GE, General Electric, is paid by the military over $2 trillion over the last 60 years to make sodium an explosive that you could use as a war toy. It is so volatile, they can't control it. It's more volatile than nitroglycerin. 1.5 degree change can cause it to ignite. So it's been impossible to do, so they've given up for now. $2 trillion enough for you? So what happens is when that goes in the body and your body isolates the sodium molecule from either the iodine or chloride, depending upon what kind of salt you're using, even if it's a natural salt, it breaks those clusters up, those clusters of minerals, because it has to be in colloidal form. Colloidal means absorbable into a cell. Cell as a nutrient. So it has to be like a unimolecule of a mineral to be utilized properly. So when the body eats normally, the cell eats, there's a whole network, a whole smorgasbord of nutrients, anywhere from 97 to 117 nutrients. All your vitamins, all your minerals, your fats, all the 60 varieties of cholesterol that can be formed, all the different proteins, pyruvate, all the 22 amino acids. Everything is in the smorgasbord. When a cell eats, it gets the whole dose and it's completely nutrified. When salt is eaten, it causes these explosions of the nutrients, so you may only get 27, 57 nutrients into a cell at once. So every cell becomes deficient anytime you use salt with a meal. Not only that, it dehydrates cells. Sometimes the sodium molecules, isolated, will attach to each other. Even though sodium molecule is the smallest of all the elements, when they clump together, they create a very strong magnetism. So when a cell opens and the ion, one or two ions inside, attracts the ions that are in that smorgasbord in there, if a cluster of sodium is passing, it can't go inside. And it causes, the magnetism is so great, it rips the ions out of the cell, and the cell will never eat again. So the cell shrivels like a grape to a raisin, and that's it. So 1 million blood cells are destroyed from one little bitty grain of salt.
So the animals, they put salt blocks up for them?
They don't really lick it that much. One little bitty grain of salt, normal table, not your big rock salt, will kill 1 million red blood cells. Of course, that can fit on the pin of a head, head of a pin, but still, that's a lot of red blood cells.
One grain. I mean, you don't just eat 1 grain. You eat more.
Yeah, you sprinkle it on.
Right, or you eat it and it comes in your food.
Okay, now there was a group of guys that said I was full of shit, didn't know what I was talking about. I said, okay, take a freshly killed animal, skin them, salt them, and see what happens. So they did it. You go online and look up frogs salt video. You see these guys, they think they're just playing around. They have no idea what's going to happen. They're just following my instructions. So they put out these 3 frog legs. They're cut from the waist down on the frogs, and they turn them over. They sprinkle the salt one side and then the other side. Now, it isn't like they poured a whole bucket of salt on them. They're sprinkling each one as somebody would sprinkle their dinner. All of a sudden, you see these frog legs. Now, these are dead frogs. They've been dead for hours. These frog legs are going into spasms. They only let it on for 2 minutes, but it happened for 27 minutes. Those legs spasmed from 27 minutes. So they did it with pepper. So you can go on, there's also one on pepper, but they only use 1 frog legs because they only have 4 frogs. So they sprinkle this pepper, and they're laying the pepper on this poor frog leg, and they're laying this pepper on it, pepper and pepper, 1 spasm, and that's it. Pepper is a highly caustic substance that burns, right? Burns tissue. This is a dead organism. It doesn't feel that. But salt is an explosive. Dead or not, it starts mixing with certain bodily fluids, and it's going to start exploding. And that's what causes this to work. So you can go online and check it out. So salt is bad. Bad, bad, bad. I said, just like I said in my book, salt is the next worst thing to cooking.
That's part of why the cells, when you look at them under a microscope, the blood cell, and it's clustering and not, bouncing around and stuff?
Well, no, usually that's from high advanced glycation end products and glucose made from carbohydrate. Very sticky. Gumpy, yeah, right. If your body uses a protein to make the pyruvate to make glycogen, there's very little advanced glycation end product and no stickiness. so the mind stays very alert and accurate.
That's why you say you do that early in the day, first thing.
And you don't eat any fruit until 6 hours, at least 6 hours after you've been awake. You don't eat any carbohydrate till you've been awake. I mean, any concentrated carbohydrate till you've been awake at least 6 hours.
And that'll help reverse the stickiness of the cells.
You won't have it
Yeah.
unless you overeat fruit. Then even if your body in the first 6 hours will make all the glycogen that will be used to feed the brain and the nervous system for the entire day that you're waking up, and even while you sleep. If you go in the afternoon and you eat a tremendous amount of fruit with high carbs, the body's still going to make a lot of glycogen with it and store it in your body. And it's going to feed it once in a while to your system, and that's going to make it sticky. Even though your body's mainly using non-sticky pyruvate glycogen. Non-sticky glycogen, pyruvate-made glycogen. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I sure do.
Okay. Oh, can I ask today?
Oh, wait a minute. Anybody that's a wimp about eggs, I don't answer the question.
Can I ask one of the things about the... I've been doing this yoga for a number of years now, and I've been trying to get this pose down. It's,
to get what down?
Lotus pose.
Uh-huh.
You know, you get the legs.
Right.
I seem to like really be tight and trying to, get past that. I don't know if it's something in the body, toxins, or something being held in, the body that is making me more flexible.
Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Where do you ache?
Like on the knees, when
the knees ache?
The knees and then in the quads,
Mm-hmm.
Both the quads, knees, the hamstring area.
Well,
really
sounds like your tendons are too tight.
Anything that can help.
Pineapple with coconut cream and some butter, and putting hot water bottles on it at night. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Basically, one of the things that I'm kind of interested in right now is prostate cancer. It's a disease. It's widespread. A lot of people are getting diagnosed with it.
Diagnosed, but not true. PSA has nothing to do with prostate.
Well, let's say you have a biopsy and it shows that there's some sort of cancerous cells involved.
Okay, let me straighten that out. Okay, 50 years ago, no, I'm getting older. 60 years ago, I'm 63, almost 63, almost close to 64 the way it's going. 60 years ago, do you know what the analysis for treatable cancer was? 500 cancer cells per million. Do you know what it is now? 50 cancer cells per million. Why did they do that? More money. When they analyze somebody for cancer, everybody's got cancer cells in their body. What ratio is treatable? What ratio is causing a difficulty and a problem? None.
Well, that's interesting. I wasn't asking a question, but the issue that's interesting to me is that there are approaches that are like this. What's his face? Ornish up in San Francisco. There's a number of like legume-based diets, all kinds of diets. There's a Levitical diet. Well, I have a friend who had prostate cancer 12 years ago. He said you're going to have to go out and make your last one of you're going to die. They just wanted to exercise, legumes, non-fat, and it wasn't raw meat at all. It was like basically dairy completely. And cancer free for 10 years. And it's weird because it seems like body types seem to have a different approach to this. And I don't get it. I mean, everybody's got these protocols. And there's so many.
You have to understand all the false statistics out there. About 80% of all the cancers that are diagnosed as treatable and problem are not. 85% of the diabetics that come to me or taking insulin are not even diabetic. You have to understand that a blood test is a snapshot. If I take a Polaroid of you, that's like me judging your entire life from a Polaroid. The most absurd thing in the world. Everybody is different. chemistry is going to be different every 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. So if I really want to understand maybe how your body is working, not how it may change, but how it changes on a daily basis, I'd have to do your blood work every day. I mean, every 30 minutes. 30 minutes every day for about a year and a half before I'd have an idea of how your body works and in what pattern. Even seasonal, it's different. So when a doctor takes a test and shows you from either one or two tests because you've had a glucose issue, and they're feeding you corn syrup, garbage for this test, of course you're going to be way off, imbalanced. You're going to have very high sugar levels. And they tell you you're diabetic, there's no cure for it, and take this insulin. The rest of your life. But you take a look at Hippocrates. Hippocrates would cure or have the cure. He didn't cure himself. He put people on a nothing but a raw milk diet. For 6 to 10 weeks, diabetes was completely reversed. Of course, they were getting milk unrefrigerated. It was right out of the cow. They were drinking it fresh. Big difference. Now, if I put somebody on just a raw milk diet, which is impossible for our society, it's difficult to do that just on raw milk. It will take 3 months to 6 months to reverse that diabetes, but still it's reversible. Usually in 2 months, if I put somebody on dairy and a meat diet with lots of raw eggs, their diabetes symptoms are gone in 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, because I was diagnosed with diabetes in February. I don't have it anymore. The doctor called me up last Thursday and said, hey, I've done all the tests. You don't have diabetes anymore yet.
You never had it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
15% of the people I have to
Well,
spend...
I changed my diet. I feel a hell of a lot better. Yeah, I lost 30 pounds and,
Yeah.
and the working out and everything. It's like, this is kind of like this next
Different
step.
life.
Yeah, it's like, I'm trying to
You're
understand.
finally feeding your body something it wanted and needs and can utilize properly. And that's all the difference in the world. You know, so 85% of the diabetics that come to me, all they do is go on a different diet and they're asymptomatic. Those that are truly diabetic may take 6 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 months, 6 months, but after 6 months, they're not diabetic. I only have 2 patients who had been taking insulin for over 35 years. They still take 3 units a day just in case. Okay, who cares? 3 units, big deal. That's a big cry from them taking their 28 to 30 to 40 a day, 43 a day, down to 3. And they just do it for insurance. That's how hard the medical profession has worked on their brain.
But doctor tells you diabetic, the thing is your body can't produce insulin?
Yeah, saying that it doesn't manufacture insulin, or you're producing a poor insulin quality that doesn't make the excess sugars into glycogen.
So if somebody has diabetes and is insulin dependent, you just put them, if you just tell them, have 4 glasses of raw milk a day, would that?
No, not with our milk quality here,
No.
because they'd be getting organic pastures. And that
No,
organic
we're talking raw
pastures
milk from mothers,
isn't that
something like
great.
that.
And
Pardon?
organic, what'd you say? Organic pastures?
Organic
Isn't that great?
pastures nearly freezes their milk to keep the coliform bacteria down, because our jerk Terminator governor vetoed that bill. We worked so hard to get through.
Right. So now
But
that's not
with the
good
new
either?
governor coming in, I'm right off to Sacramento again.
Oh, you mean the raw milk you buy right now in Mother's and those places, like in those bottles that just had it, that's no good either?
It's not so good. It isn't the best. Schwarzenegger made sure we didn't have the high quality we need. So I get ours shipped from
Okay, $8
our Amish farmers
$8
every
for that.
week. It's expensive, just as expensive organic pastures. They have ours shipped in, but we have high quality.
Do you get it in the glass or do you?
I buy in the glass, so it's frightfully expensive.
How much?
If I buy it in a half gallon, I'm paying 12 something. If I buy it in the gallon glass, I pay $17, $18.
There's a gallon glass.
19?
Yeah.
Gallon's better.
Start the shipping.
For raw milk,
Plus
including
shipping, is that
Raw
included?
milk in glass,
What
yeah.
about Clareville Farms that are Mother's?
Clareville Farms feeds theirs just regular old feed.
Is that including shipping?
They can't called me, both of them. He and his wife called me and said, "Why are you bad-mouthing our milk?" I said, "I'm not bad-mouthing your milk. It's just that you feed yours, we're organic." I said, "Send me the label to your feed. The last time I saw your feed label, it's a regular old, has soy in it, it has processed soy in it, it has a lot of other processed substances. It has molasses, and molasses is boiled sugar cane till the slop boils down to the bottom at 475 to 700 degrees. I said, "That's not raw. That's not an organic substance." I said, "You send me your label." Never received it.
Where are you going to get feed that is
The Amish grow their own. The Amish grow their own.
Are there any Amish out here?
Pardon?
Are there any Amish in California?
Too expensive. Too
The
expensive.
land prices are too high.
Oh yeah, exactly.
How close are they? Some in Arizona?
There's a lot in Kansas, Mennonites in Kansas, Utah.
Utah has.
There's some in Arizona.
I think there's some.
I was just,
in California. I saw him when we went to Mexico. About it.
yeah. Well, I've never met any from
On
here.
the way to.
In
There's a
California
small.
or in
I think it's in California. Small community.
Must be around here then.
Yeah.
I was just in
I don't
in
know if
Sedona, and there were some there. So
that's Arizona.
yeah.
They're not necessarily growing a lot of crops. So I don't know,
Exactly,
you know,
right.
Yeah.
They probably
Pretty
I
dry
don't
up
know if
there.
I don't know if these guys are on anything.
The ones in Pennsylvania are the real, and that's where you get the biggest concentrations.
Well, you got them in Ohio. I have a slew of them in Ohio.
And there's some in Wisconsin, Indiana.
All over the place. They are all over the place. But just not in the West Coast. There's not a lot of rain. There's not a lot of growth here. They stay where it's good farming.
Are they protected from the government? Raising
I've
them?
been protecting them.
Good for
I've had 6 already I saved from the FDA closing down already this year.
you. This year?
This year. Yeah. So they sign contracts with me, so I own their animals. So it's all private owned. It's no longer commercial, and I send letters to the HHS, Human Health Services in Washington, D.C., the FDA in Washington, D.C., then their local one, and I tell them you have no jurisdiction over here. If you trespass onto the property anymore, if you touch a gate to enter it when we told you not to, it's breaking and entering, and we will prosecute. And if you come on with a false warrant, you will be and arrest anybody for, I don't care if it's for 10 minutes, you kidnapping. We don't use this false arrest crap that lets law enforcement off of the hook, because what it is kidnapping. If I arrest you for 10 minutes, it's kidnapping.
And if the law enforcement agents that have guns with them, then it's armed assault.
Armed assault, yes, and that's what we're getting them for up here when they came to us in Rawson.
Do you know anything about this, the organic certification board, which apparently their license was pulled just recently in the last week or so in California?
I don't care who's
California.
I don't care what the government does. The government has no say over anything anymore as far as
Well, I wonder what the repercussions for that would be if there's no more board for licensing or certifying.
They don't want it because Bush owns through trust. Bush and the Bass family out of Texas own Whole Foods. Why do you think it's all marketing? Go organic, and they only carry 2% organic produce at any time. That's nothing. It's all bullshit. It's all more government-minded spin. And they don't produce anything better, and they just signed, what was it, 5 months ago, 2 vegetarians to run Whole Foods. What kind of mentality is that? Right away, those 2 guys got rid of raw milk. And they said it was an insurance issue. Bullshit.
So, do you think this is related to your place you said in Thailand, your retreat center?
They're after me everywhere.
They won't stop.
They're not going to stop, and I'm not going to stop. When I got back from Thailand, from the East, after getting all those injections, I did 3 more radio shows on the swine flu. They're just not going to stop me.
I'm saying, how are they stopping you and you're in another frickin' country?
They're trying to take my land away that I was going to make as a spa.
But who is the culprit? Who is
I don't know who the fuck they are. They have money and power.
I mean, they're following you around?
They're searching for me everywhere. That's part of what I am. I've been homeless before. I lived on the old, Earl Flynn estate. On a hammock for 3 days one time. I was homeless in Hollywood. So I've been there before. I lived on a bicycle for 3 years out in the wild. You know, I slept in graveyards so I wouldn't be hassled. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid
No, I'm
of
saying to
living
help
outdoors.
other people. That, I mean, you can never seem to get a clinic together or some kind of retreat center to help people without just...
And some of the people who do become bankrupt right after they've offered me. So people who offer me now, I say, don't tell me, build it. We'll work through another channel. We'll have phone calls that are clandestine, but don't tell me. If you want to invest in that, you go build it up like a regular clinic is, but green, without all the pollution, without all the asbestos and linoleum and all that stuff, and no press board anywhere. You build that, I will help it go, but you cannot be directly connected with me because you'll become bankrupt.
Is that what's happening with Morning Land Dairy?
Your Morning Land Dairy, they're closing them down because they supplied us.
So what would your relationship be like in that manner? You would be like an advisor to, or like they would build it?
I could go on, we've got video conferencing now, I can look at the patient. We've got those small magnifying microscopes, that are connected to USB. Put it right up against the eye, right there. I take a photo of it. I can do anything on now, but I'll just have to do it off of Skype or somewhere where there's a lot of traffic. Of course, you've got trouble with Skype is cutoff and stuff like that, but it's hard to track a call.
You get a pretty good accurate radiology, picture.
Those new microscopes, they're only like $400. They're pretty good. And you just have to have somebody who has a good computer and good internet transmission quality.
So where are you going to go now?
I don't know. Don't have a clue. I just take one at a time.
You going to stay here on the West Coast for a while?
Well, yeah, I will definitely. This will still be my home until they kill me. But
I thought you had your place in Thailand, though. I mean, you built your house, right?
yeah, but they're trying to take all that land, even the land that the house is on. They're trying to take.
No.
Yeah.
The house that you just built?
The house that I just built. They said that's on forestry protected land too. So I got real angry at them at the last meeting. There were judges, there were policemen, there was the land authority, there was the forestry department, and there were attorneys and the city attorney, all together. This I don't want printed because I promised them I wouldn't. I said, and they all said, give us $200,000, we'll go away. The whole issue will go away. I said, you're just trying to extort money from me? This is what this is all about? I'm bringing good wealth to your country and all that. I said, do you know something? You're trying to fuck the wrong man. And that's just what I said. I said, I will go online and I'll report this to all the people out there on this diet. And there are at least 40,000 people interested in this diet and what I'm doing. Take a look at Sunday's paper a few weeks ago. You've got the whole city attorney being embarrassed for coming into my Rawsome club and with guns raised and trying to extort and play with us. I said, do you want the same embarrassment? I said, you're screwing with the wrong man if you think you're going to do that to me. They all sat back and I left. And I left that the next morning, so I have no idea what's happened. And I won't know until I go back. I don't know if I will have land and a house or not.
What about the Philippines?
No, that's just now being built. When I left, just the piles were built to build the house. So my houses are all 9 feet tall, taller than this, because, it rains so much there. Anything on the ground smells like mold. You go into a hotel and you're on the first floor, everything smells like mildew and mold. So I don't want that for my houses. So everything's 9 feet up. So 3 meters. So then they have to build a deck and then the house on top of the deck.
So who was the guy the people that own the land and you made their kids better, that had
That was the Philippines.
So you're okay in the Philippines?
Yep. Yeah, they stopped me from digging my lake. I had dug a lake in Thailand, and they came and took the backhoe and the machinery and impounded it.
This is in the middle of nowhere, right?
This is in the middle of nowhere,
and
right?
They got anything better to do?
Who else would be behind it? They don't know who I am. I'm way out in the Tules.
Yeah,
my name isn't even on anything. I've got Thai partners, and all of them show that they own it. I've got a patient here who's Thai, and she's the main owner. So my name, but they know, the word is around. They follow me. I don't use I don't turn my cell phone on where I go. Only time I turn it on is when I absolutely have to use it for an emergency. I don't use credit cards. I will buy a ticket right before I get on the plane. Sometimes I will buy a ticket ahead of time on my credit card, but never get on that plane. I'll get on the next one, or one the next day, or the day previous to that. I pull all kinds of stuff. It's a lot more expensive, and I'm going down in my savings, but my safety is more important to me. So I have to play games like that. And I've got little bitty sensor devices that I have at the windows and the doors. Anybody comes in, makes a very 100-watt, sounds like a very loud bird squelch. So, it'd just shock and bring me out of sleep, or wake anybody up, and shock anybody who's trying to break in. So I use those. I have a taser gun, which is 1 million watts. And if I hit somebody with that, just for 1 second, they won't move for 5 minutes. If I hit them for 3 seconds, they won't move for 15, 20 minutes. If I hit them for 30 minutes, their brain won't function. They'll be brain dead. So, and if I caught those 2 guys that had been injecting me, and I had my taser next to me and been able to do something about it, they would not be alive today, I guarantee you. They would have been brain dead. I would have just put that taser on their neck or on their temple till the brain stopped working. That was it.
Either that or get him for a couple of seconds and then inject him.
They deserve to be dead. Yeah.
Well, where's it being now?
Deadly force for that.
Are you still they bury your spawn and all that?
Oh yeah, they buried that in my hot tub, everything. So I'm a little bitty, bungalow cottage up on the same estate. but I have to leave by November 20th. They told me I had to leave by October 20th, and I said, make me. Take me to court, make me. I'll be here till January if you do that. But I promise you I'll be out by November 20th.
Are you going to plan on you?
No. No, I'm going to find another place to live and move to another place to live.
You ever go to Florida?
Yeah, I go every year.
When?
Pardon?
When?
This last year I went, May, in Fort Lauderdale area, the Boca Raton around there.
I think they're just so afraid of, people really getting the truth. And once it gets out, that they're going to be blown up. So,
Well, you have to look, like I said in my newsletter this week, I said, they are afraid of another revolution. 1776 happened because people were healthy, eating off the farm, not eating chemicals in their food, not getting fluoride in their water. Fluoride causes docility in animals to the point where if you put it in their water, they will be killed by their peers. They won't fight back. Hitler used it to make his prisoners in the concentration camps docile. Why do they think you're trying to get it in everybody's water? San Diego has fought it off for 11 years now.